Hello, and welcome to the 13th video lecture of Quantitative Analysis for Business Decisions QABD Semester 2 Module number 1. In today's video lecture, we are going to study about presentation of data. In a previous video lecture, we had started with presentation of data. We have seen what is presentation of data, and we have also seen that presentation of data can be done through either textual forms, that is in terms of paragraphs. It can also be done in terms of diagrams, and it can be done in through graphs. Textual is paragraphs. Diagrams, we have seen there are different types of diagrams: one dimensional diagrams, two dimensional diagrams, and three dimensional diagrams. This is what we have covered so far. In today's video lecture, we shall see about graphical presentation of data. That is, we will be seeing how to present the data using various graphs. So let us begin today's lecture. So what are graphs? A graph is a visual form of presentation of statistical data, just like diagrams. A graph is more attractive than a table, definitely, because table consists of only rows and columns with numbers, whereas graph has pictures, colors, and graphics towards it. Even a common man can understand, you can comprehend the message very easily. Comparisons can be done between two or more phenomena very easily with the help of graph, and at a single glance very quickly you will understand. You don't need to look at the numbers and try to find out which is more, which is less, or something like that. The different types of graphs are like this: histogram, which is normally asked in examination; frequency polygon, frequency curve, ogive, and Lorentz curve. So out of this, we have, through experience, we have seen that normally what is asked in your examination is your histogram. Just a second. Your histogram and your frequency. Histogram generally it is asked, and maybe ogive might be asked. So let us see one by one what are these. First, histogram. Histogram is basically a bar chart itself, or a bar diagram. It is a graph showing the frequency of occurrence of each value of the variable being analyzed. So what we are seeing is, it is similar to your simple bar diagram. Only thing is that there won't be any gap between various rectangles that we are going to draw. In histogram, data are plotted as a series of rectangles. Class intervals are shown on the x-axis. That is, suppose if class intervals are there, which are there, what are class intervals we'll see later. They are plotted on the horizontal x-axis, and frequencies are plotted on the y-axis, that is the vertical axis. So this is how we will be showing this. The height of each rectangle represents the frequency of the class interval. Each rectangle is formed with it will be like this way, see, histogram. So definitely the height of each rectangle will tell you frequency, because we are plotting frequency on the y-axis. Such a graph is also called a staircase or a block diagram. Generally these are not that widely used names. Generally used name is the histogram. We cannot construct a histogram for distribution with open end classes. This is very important to know. If you have open end classes, it is difficult, in fact it is not possible at all to draw histogram. It is also quite misleading if the distribution has unequal intervals and suitable adjustments in frequencies are not made. If see, whenever you're drawing a histogram, care should be taken that the width of the class interval, that is, in short, the width of each rectangle should be same. If it is not same, then there should be certain adjustments made so that they become same. Then only you can draw histogram, which is very easy to use for your analysis. We'll take one problem for this. You can expect one histogram in your examination. This has been asked 2 times in previous 4 years. Daily wages and number of workers are given: 0 to 50 rupees, 50 to 100 rupees, 100 to 150, 150 to 200, 200 to 250, and so on, and number of workers are given. Now clearly we can see one interesting thing here is that the width of the class interval is the same. Now what is a class interval here? This are nothing but class intervals. First class interval, second class interval, third class interval, fourth, fifth and sixth. So this way we have various class intervals. Now in these class intervals, nearly the width, that is the range of this, is same, 0 to 50. What is the width of class interval? 50. 50 to 100, 50. 100 to 150, 50. So the width of these class intervals is same in all this. So we can use this for drawing histogram. Also, we do not have any open-ended class. Open-ended, what are these open-ended classes? Open-ended classes means we may get something like, so suppose next class is 300 to or else above 300, above 300 to. Now above 300 cannot be plotted on a histogram because it is open-ended, it doesn't has any end. All these have a lower limit and an upper limit here. So it is between 0 and 50 or 50 to 100, but in this case we do not have an upper limit, we only have a lower limit, that is 300. Okay, so that care should be taken. Such kind of if values are there, it cannot be plotted. Histogram cannot be plotted. Now histogram for this we'll see. As I said, x-axis represents the value what is there, that is in this case daily wages, and number of workers is the frequency which comes on the y-axis. Remember one thing, frequency, what is frequency? Frequency means the count. So number of children, number of students, number of subjects, number of workers, so all these things, number of, whenever you are counting anything, that comes under this frequency, that is known as frequency. So let us start solving this problem. Now you can take a scale here, suppose 1 centimeter equal to 50 rupees. So you can draw 1 centimeter each. 0 centimeter, 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 3, 4, 5, 6. So at everywhere you have to write 50, 100, 150, 200, 250. Scale is 1 centimeter equal to 50 centimeters. Similarly on the y-axis also you can take an appropriate scale. Here I have taken 1 centimeter equal to 5 workers. So after every centimeter, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, for every centimeter I am writing. Now I will start plotting this. The first one says that 0 to 50. How many are there? 8 workers. 0 to 50. See, this is a class interval, so it has come on the x-axis. So 0 to 50, one box. And how many are there? That will be the height. So the height of rectangles represent the frequency. Frequency is 8. So where will 8 come? Mark there and complete the rectangle. Now next step is, don't leave the gap between the first rectangle and the second rectangle. Join it, and 50 to 100, 16, and so on. Generally in a histogram you'll get a V kind of shape. Yeah, always remember, generally if in any frequency distribution, if you see, you'll get a V type of shape. The V might be different, this way, something, but you'll get a V kind of shape, that is an inverted V kind of a shape. So this is your histogram, generally asked in your examination for 5 marks. Next one is frequency polygon. Frequency polygon, if you understood histogram, this is very easy. If we mark the midpoints of the top of the horizontal sides of the rectangle in a histogram and join them by a straight line, the figure so formed is known as a frequency polygon. So what we do, suppose I want to convert this into a frequency polygon. So what I do is, I'll find the midpoint of each of these top lines of this rectangle. This is the midpoint of this, 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 midpoint. Now all these midpoints I will be joining with straight line using scale and pencil. So this is your frequency polygon. Just add that is, you have to see where is the midpoint of those rectangles, that is the top part of the rectangles, and you have to join using scale and pencil. So that becomes your frequency polygon. This is done under the assumption that the frequencies in a class interval are evenly distributed throughout the class. So this is what has been shown here. Next one is the frequency curve. Now this is again similar to the earlier one only. If the middle part of each boundaries of the rectangles of a histogram is corrected by a smooth freehand curve, then the diagram is known as a frequency curve. Now in this itself, this is a frequency polygon. What have you used in this? In this I have used what? I have used scale and a pencil to draw. So instead of scale and a pencil, if I'm using my freehand sketch to join this should be up a little bit. So this becomes your frequency curve, not a polygon. Okay, so that is what we are gonna do here. Frequency curve, a smooth curve it is. Okay, in one diagram only I could have shown you instead of having all these three different diagrams. Okay, frequency histogram, frequency polygon, then frequency curve. All these are similar. If you draw the for all these three you need histogram. Next one is ogive. Now what is an ogive? Ogive cannot be asked in an examination if not histogram. So for a set of observation we know how to construct a frequency distribution. Now in some cases we may require the number of observations less than a given value or more than a given value. See, suppose I want to know how many students have scored less than 60 marks in statistics. So if you want to find out this, you need to draw an ogive. How many students have scored more than 50 in statistics? Then you need to draw an ogive. Through ogive, less than or more than values if you want to get, then you draw ogives. That is why you have two types of ogives. First one is known as less than ogive. The second one is known as more than ogive. In less than ogive, you take less than values, and in more than ogive, so you take more than values. What are these less than or more than values? We'll see this using a method. So this is in less than ogive method, we start with the upper limits of the class intervals and go adding the frequencies. When these frequencies are plotted, we get a rising curve. Remember, less than ogive is generally used in statistics. If they have not asked you anything, if they ask you to draw only ogive, you have to draw less than ogive, and it is a rising curve. It rises from left to right. And in case if they do not ask anything, if they ask you to draw a more than ogive, then you should start from the lower limit and of the classes, and from the total frequencies we subtract the uh, frequency of each class. So it is opposite to less than ogive, and it will be a curve that will be moving downwards from left to right. We'll see how to draw this. Draw the ogives. Here ogives they have said. So in this case we have to draw both the ogives, that is less than ogive as well as more than ogive. So class intervals and frequencies have been given. So let us draw ogive. This is the first thing that we have to do, tabulation. That is class limit. Now in this case what happens is class limit 20, 30, 40, 50, everything you have to take up till 100. That is, these values are ranging from 20, that is lower limit of the first class, 20 up till 100. So all these values will be taken into consideration. So the class limits are 20 to 100. Now less than ogive, less than. Now concentrate here on this table. Less than 20. How many numbers are there, or how many frequencies are there which are less than 20? How many things are there which are less than 20? Okay, this is 20 to 30 are 4. So how many are less than 20? 0. Less than 20, there's nothing in this, because the first interval itself is 20 to 30. Now tell me, how many numbers are there which are less than 30? Less than 30, definitely 4 numbers, right? Because 4 numbers are between 20 and 30. So 4 you will get. How many numbers are there which are less than 40? 6? No, it is 6 plus 4. 6 are between 20 and 30, and 4 are between 20 and 30. Okay, 6 are between 30 and 40, 4 are between 20 and 30, so 6 plus 4 is 10. So your less than 40 is 10, less than 50 is 23. You add this 13 again, then 23 plus 25, 48, 48 plus 32, so on. So this is how we do less than values. More than ogive. Okay, more than ogive, there are 2-3 various methods which your authors might suggest you. Different authors will suggest you different methods. The best way how we can find out more than ogive is directly start with 100 here down, more than values. If I want to find out more than values, now start with the bottommost part, that is more than 20. How many are there? More than 20, everything is there. 100. More than 100, how many are there? 0, right? So 0. Now 0 plus 3, right here 3, 3 plus 8, right here 11, 11 plus 19, right here 30, 30 plus 32, right here 62, 62 plus 25, right here 87, 87 plus 13, right here whatever value comes you have to write here. So you have to keep on adding. Start with 0 here. In a previous less than, what we have done is we started with 0 here at the top. See, simple it is. Less than values, more than values. We start with less than 0 here, less than. So 0 plus 4, 4, 4 plus 6, 10, 10 plus 13, 23, 23 plus 25, 48, 48 plus 32, and so on. In more than values, what we have to do is we start with 0 here. 0 plus 3, 3, 3 plus 8, 11, 11 plus 19. Okay, it should be in that row only. I do not have space, so I am writing here. 11 plus 19 is 30, and so on. Okay, so this is how you find out less than and more than ogives. That is values. Now here there this is how you find out. Now once you find less than or more than ogive, you have to plot it on a graph. So class limit 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Class interval will come on the x-axis just like previous in histogram, and in the vertical axis you write cumulative frequency, that is 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. You have to write cumulative frequencies. Means what? These are cumulative frequencies, less than ogive, more than ogive. So these are less than cumulative frequency, and this is more than cumulative frequency. So for 20, we'll first plot only less than values. So less than 20, how many are there? 0. So 20, 0. I'm plotting this red line. Remember, see, I've said less than curve is a rising curve. You can see it is rising from left to right. So at 20 we have 0, at 30 we have 4, so plot 4 there and connect it. Similarly you plot all these values. At 100 we have 110, so at 100 we have 110 here, last point. So similarly you connect all this using your freehand sketch, that is using your pencil. Next, more than ogive, if you want to draw, same method again. You have to plot. It will come down. Okay, it will form an X kind of a shape if you intersect both more than ogive and less than ogive. So this is how more than ogive and less than ogive comes. In your examination, they may ask you to draw any one out of this. And lastly, Lorentz curve. Lorentz curve is a graphical method of studying dispersion. It was introduced by Max O. Lorentz, a great economist and a statistician, to study the distribution of wealth and income. In fact, that is the distribution of wealth and income. He had done a study on how a distribution of wealth happens in a society. It is also used to study the variability in the distribution of profits, wages, revenue, etc. It is specially used to study the degree of inequality in the distribution of income and wealth between countries or between different classes of the population in at the same time in a country, or between different periods of population. It is a percentage of cumulative values of one variable in combined with the percentage of cumulative values in other variable, and then Lorentz curve is drawn. The curve starts from the origin, that is 0 0, and ends at 100 100. Why 100 100? Because this is a percentage curve, remember. If the wealth, revenue, land, etc. are equally distributed among the uh, people of the country, then the Lorentz curve will be the diagonal of the square. However, this is highly impossible. The deviation of Lorentz curve from the diagonal shows how the wealth, revenue, land, etc. are not equally distributed among the people. An example is shown here: area A and area B, number of companies and their profits. So Lorentz curve has to be drawn. For Lorentz curve, we are finding the cumulative profit, cumulative percentage, and so on. This example is not there in your syllabus, don't worry. If they ask you, they may ask you only for 2 marks what is Lorentz curve, so only this much is enough. And if you want, you can see how the diagram looks like of a Lorentz curve. Okay, this is enough for you. A Lorentz curve can be asked only for 2 marks, not more than that. So with this we end today's lecture. We have completed today graphs and diagrams, that is presentation of data. In our next lecture we shall be continuing with advantages, limitations of graphs, and we shall cover up model number 1. Notes of this will be sent to you on your WhatsApp group.